the Black Moods. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
We got a chance to interview them. We're super excited. We're here just to hang out, have fun. We're here for 30 minutes? I don't know.
Something like that.
Let's hope.
Well, we'll see how long this beer lasts.
So
once the beer is gone, the podcast.
That's
that's when we end. Let's just roll right into this.
So I was reading up a little bit on you guys, and I was looking into the name, the Black Moods, and I saw that. Yeah, he's just going in straight to questions.
Keep going.
And I was wondering, where did that name really come from? Because I wanted to, if you could elaborate on that.
Well, you know what? I can tell you the exact moment that it happened. No, seriously, we went back to Missouri, where I was from, one of the first times, I think, and we have a Jeep, and we had the top off, and we were back roading, and it was, I'd been reading this book called No One Gets Out Alive. Yeah, No One Gets Out Alive, I think is what it's called, by Stephen Davis, and he was the right-hand guy for the Doors for the longest time. And so he wrote this book on the Doors, whether they gave the approval or not, but they referred to Jim when he'd get in his awkward and weird moods and make everybody uncomfortable or be just a prick. Can you say that on this show? Okay. Not a nice guy. And so they'd be like, oh, well, Jim is in one of his black moods. And so from that, we wrote a song called The Black Moods. And then eventually, once we were like, we should call the band The Black Moods. Okay. And then, of course, we had been doing that a while, and then here comes, everybody, black was the new thing. So then
the Black Keys.
There was the Black Keys, the Black Lips,
the Black
all
Angels.
This, and we hadn't gotten noticed yet, so we're like, damn it. Everybody's going to think we're ripping everybody else off,
Everyone got to it first.
Yeah.
Shoot.
We were the Black Moods before you ever heard of Black Lips or Black Keys or any of that, so.
So you were there first.
Well, I don't know. They could have been there first too, but until they got noticed, then you're like, oh shit, we're not first.
So. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
Basically, second loser. Yeah.
Anyway, the red moods just doesn't sound as good.
Yeah.
The translucent moods does not work.
I think we've been called the blue moods before, in a marquee.
We've been called everything. The black.
The multicolored moods.
But everything from the black
moods.
boots.
You guys have to wear mood rings to all your concerts.
Lord.
We thought about making merch.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we were talking about making mood ring merch, but we've been called the black boots, the black dudes, black shoes. Yeah, it's.
The black. Oh, who's playing tonight? The Black Dudes.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Actually,
yeah.
One Halloween we went as.
Yeah, we went as a black dudes.
Really?
It was awesome. Our bass player at the time looked just like Snoop Dogg. He cornrowed his hair and everything. It was awesome.
Put on the makeup, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it was impressive. I came out looking more like Tony Iommi, circa '76. But anyway, it was fun.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, we'll slide into the next question then. So you guys are from Arizona, wasn't it? Right? Arizona?
That's where we're based out of now.
Based out of?
Yeah, Chico's born and raised there.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's from Southern Missouri. Jordan's from
Ohio.
OH.
Sweet home.
Hi, it's Nevan from the future, and I'm here to tell you that our audio had a couple issues right here. So the context is going to be very different for a little bit. Don't be confused. Just enjoy the rest of the podcast. All right, bye.
Whatever.
well.
Your Jewish mother?
No, my Jewish aunt.
Your Jewish aunt, same thing.
I was wondering where that was going, actually. I think that's on my YouPorn history.
Oh my god.
All right. So we'll slide into the next question then here. So, what's the stories behind the band's beginning? How'd you all meet up? How'd you all get together? Since you guys are all from 3 different states anyway. So how did the Black Moods come to be?
Well, I grew up in Southwest Missouri in a really small town where there wasn't much to do, and I was learning to play guitar, so I was 11, 12 years old, and when I was in my room playing Clapton, my poor mother had to listen to me play Cocaine over and over and over again, which is 2 chords the whole way through. So I'm in there playing that, and the American Music Awards came on, and my dad was in there watching it, and a band called the Gym Blossoms came on playing a song called Hey Jealousy, and my dad's like, he called me Bub, so he's like, Bub, get in here, as I'm in my room going, you know, like Cocaine over and over. And so I went in there and they played Hey Jealousy, and he said, man, you can write songs like this is good, because, you know, Clapton and all these guys, they're so virtuosic and great, and not that, it was just like, it was more about songwriting. And so my dad was like, this is great songs, you could write songs like this. And so from then on, I was obsessed with the Gym Blossoms, and so my goal was to move out and play guitar for the Gym Blossoms. So eventually I wound up going to school at the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences in Tempe, Arizona, where they're from, and I wound up hooking up with them and working at their studio. And then the drummer that I had at the time doing demos with, that was sleeping on my couch, smoking all my cigarettes, and not paying rent, quit all of a sudden when I was going in to record, and he said, I can't do it, but I'll pass this guy along, and it was Chico, and he sucked.
Yeah, that was terrible, man. My audition was awful, because I was in a band 3 years prior, and then I just studied music and you know, taking lessons, doing Latin and jazz and all this kind of stuff. And I had the audition with Josh, and you know, so I'm looking like, he's like, man, you gotta jive. And I'm looking through my books, like, where's jive?
Yeah, he's
Where's
looking
the
for the
definition of
definition.
jive?
If you gotta look it up, you ain't got it. You ain't got it.
Yeah, but I remember talking to my buddy Andy, who was a really good friend of mine. I'm like, dude, these auditions are sucking. He's like, well, drink a 5th of whiskey before you go in there and let loose. And you know, eventually that's kind of helped.
And that's how you jive.
Yeah, and that's how you jive.
That's how jive
I
started.
learned how to jive.
Nice.
And then, and so him and I started working, like playing shows out and writing a lot of songs, and just held up in the studio. And then we needed a bass player that was good and, you know, didn't suck and
Was a cool
could
dude.
sing and you could live with in a van. And
Yeah,
that's how we found Jordan.
4 bass players later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the bass players in between that we had all ran off with one of my ex-girlfriends. Ironically enough.
So I had to sign a contract
Yeah.
to join the band.
We told him, what was funny,
Put off. You're here to
what was
stay.
funny is the last bass player we had, and these guys were all interims, so, you know, Jordan's the guy, but the last guy we had, we made a joke too. We were like, hey, you have to sign a contract saying you're not going to quit the band for one of Josh's ex-girlfriends. And he joked and laughed about it, and sure as shit, he quit the band for one of my ex-girlfriends.
Then married her, yeah.
Yeah, they're like living together. Yeah.
Happily ever after.
So I mean, so I'm a guitar player and a songwriter and also a matchmaker, I guess.
Look at you.
I know, it's so great.
Just have to go through the gauntlet.
I didn't know you worked for eHarmony.
I totally do.
You're on the commercial.
I hook up all the dumbasses together and let them go on their way.
Put them all together and send them off.
Oh, shoot. Well, next question's for you, Dre. This is your personal.
I was saying, because I've been like playing around with all 3, guitar, bass, and drum. I just really wanted to know who or what inspired you guys to really start playing.
Well, I mean, the first thing, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna be kind of cheesy, but it was my dad. I mean, one of my first memories ever was like my dad jamming out to like "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey or something. You know what I mean? I'm being serious. Like, for real. Like, I was like really little, and I would just watch him, and he got me this little toy like guitar. It was like plastic and had really crappy strings. Like plastic strings.
Plastic strings.
Oh yeah, it was awful. But no, it was like my dad. You know, he kind of got me into the music, and I started listening to music, and then the artists like kind of developed through like from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can name a million artists right now off the top of my head, but I mean, like, to be honest with you, like my dad was the first person who kind of got me into music. He taught me guitar first, and then I kind of moved to drums, and then I went to bass. But bass was my first instrument, but I didn't want to play. But that's my story.
Who's next?
I'll go. I remember, because I grew up in a suburb of Phoenix called Tolleson, predominantly Hispanic. So I grew up listening to hip hop because that's what everybody listened to back then. And then I remember going to the skating rink once, and I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit" for the first time, and I was like, "What is this?"
What?
What? And so I did some research and got the album, and so Dave Grohl was a big influence on me. Cause just the way he plays and just beats the hell out of him.
Yeah, he just goes crazy.
God, he's nuts. And so yeah, he was huge. for me.
Chewing gum the whole time, blowing bubbles and shit. You're like, what?
Yeah, and it's weird because
insane.
after I met Josh, I knew who Zeppelin was, but I didn't really listen to him as much. And then started getting the albums and stuff. And then John Bonham just blew me away. I mean, that guy, he plays drums like a bird can sing. It's weird. He's got melody on the drums. So that's my story. But
Mine's the same way. My dad was always in a band, and there's like footage. My mom was my first guitar tech. Like he was saying, I had a plastic guitar, Scooby-Doo guitar, and my mom would always, every time I'd break a string on it, they would go and buy a new plastic guitar, and eventually they're like, we weren't well off by any stretch. So she's like, I'm not gonna keep buying plastic guitars. So eventually, she just started restringing my guitars with fishing line. So,
what it was
yeah,
in the
which is
first
what it
place.
was in the first place. And so when we would go
it
to,
still has the hook
yeah,
and blood on it.
yeah, she's like, to make you tough. But so when we would go places, my dad's band would play. They'd let me up on stage, so my mom never had to worry about me. Like when there was kids running around, I would stay up on stage. My dad's band at the time, they'd play 4 hours, so they'd 45 minutes and take 15, 45. So and when I got off stage, my mom had a Pepsi for me. The guys are all pounding shots and probably drinking beer and doing whatever else. I slammed a Pepsi. And that's it.
Shotgun a Pepsi.
That's what we gotta do. We gotta.
Yeah, that's it.
What we do just with
But-
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it was all family stuff, And yeah, that's how I got into it.
I guess that's a running trend when it comes with musicians, their family. Because I see a lot of musicians. They're like, yeah, my dad introduced me or my mom introduced me. I've seen that it's a decent amount of people who play music nowadays. It's a lot more because their parents were involved with had something to do with the
Sure.
music.
Well, it's in the house.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
so the reason I'm so obsessed with 60s 70s rock is because my dad, my mom, they listen to it all the time, and so it's
Ingrained in your brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I
it's
get it.
like the reason.
See, that's what's crazy because Chico didn't come from that.
Yeah, my
He's-
dad, when I was growing up, was listening to Yanni and shit like that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
George
what?
Benson, and which is great, but it's you're not gonna rock your balls or go get laid to it.
Having a fun night with Yanni.
Yeah,
Remember
you're not
that
gonna roll up at prom cranking Yanni.
Oh, that's great. All right. Question number 4. So, have there been moments when you, Josh, or Gio, or anyone, did you guys ever find it hard to write songs, or have
Like a writer's block or something.
yeah, have you guys had
Yeah.
writer's block, or have some just really come to you immediately, or what?
Both things, yes. Writer's block happens more than you think. Like you're in the flow a lot sometimes. When it does come to you, there's times where you're you have an idea, whatever, and then it just flows out so easily. And then there's times where that flow just literally just hits a wall, and then you feel it. You start to feel like you're forcing it, especially when we start writing songs together as a group. You start to realize, okay, we're not really getting anywhere with this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's move on. We'll come back to it later. But we're really stubborn, so we tend to just do it, and we just
Beat it
kinda
into the
We
ground.
kind of fight. Yeah, we beat it to the ground. And we just keep
Till we're
going.
mad at each other.
Yeah, right. And then we don't even play the song. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, for the time that I've been with Josh, it's actually been pretty easy writing, which is, I think, something that's one of our strengths. But every now and then,
does happen.
there'll be times, but we recognize that,
And it's usually about 4 o'clock in the morning after about a 60-pack.
Yeah. Yeah, like, dude, just ain't working, man.
Yeah, I don't know why it ain't working.
Here, drink some more of this.
Yeah, maybe this will help.
Chico
God.
fell off his stool.
Pour this on it.
You think we're kidding?
Yeah, but every day seems, I kind of wake up always wanting to write, but every day kind of feels like writer's block, and it makes it more of a I don't know. it makes you work harder. I think
a challenge.
it's all it's more of a challenge, because we'll have these little ideas that just start, and my whole phone is full of just I'm going do, and I save that, and then 2 weeks later I'm like, what the hell is
I found one on my phone the other day at the boat.
and then there's like a there's a hiccup in the middle of it. Oh.
Hey, wait, I'm not done with that beer.
Yeah. You leave it on, and it's just fumbling around the rest of the time. But there's always that kind of thing. But it definitely, it's like mushrooms. It comes in spurts. Sometimes you'll be like, you'll have your moments where, like Belladonna. We sat down. I just kind of on a mission to write that. Our producer, he was in town working with us, doing in pre-production, and we got through a couple songs, and as he was getting his Uber to go to the airport, I think I was outside pissing or whatever it was, and he just hollered at me, and he said, hey, write something in the vein with the groove of Love Me Two Times by the Doors, with that bounce and that kind of thing. And so I just had that in my head, and we all went our separate ways for a few days. And so I was sitting there just like, having a beer by myself, playing acoustic guitar. That riff, the opening riff came to me, and then I came back and showed the guys, and we wrote it within an hour, and then had it demoed by the end of by daylight.
Yeah,
By daylight, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I do have to say, I do enjoy that riff.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I-
cool,
I
right?
was listening to it, and I was like, oh, this is, ooh. It's kind of one of those.
Right on,
Oh,
man.
cool.
Cool.
It worked out well, and what's really funny about that track is because we're getting all this radio traction, which is great, but when we demoed it, we did the backing vocals on the chorus with, because it's like, I want you, I need you is in the chorus. That's us drunk as shit, layering it like 3 times in the studio
After a 60
till like
pack.
4 in the morning.
And 2 bottles of Jameson.
Yeah, and so when we sent it to our producer, I said he's either gonna laugh us out of the studio or he's gonna love it. And he called me immediately and he said, "This is great." And then when we wound up actually recording it, re-recording it, am I saying that right? Re-recording it.
Re-recorded.
Re-recording
Recording
it.
with
Josh is
Re-leave it or
about 30 deep in
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I'm in that 60 pack right now. But after we tracked it again, he flew those vocals in. So all over the radio are our drunk asses saying, "I want you, I need you."
And we were hammered.
Oh, dude, it's so funny because when you hear it, I don't know where we were. We were pulling up to the radio station, Springfield, and it was on there, and we're like all giddy and stuff, and you can hear.
We're like,
We can
"Oh my-"
tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the biggest thing though is that like our producer kept it on the track because like the energy was there, like it is, and you can hear it because we were having. And I remember like when I listened to those background vocals when we were doing those like chants, I look back to that time when we were sitting there like recording it in our like little studio
And
in
it
the
was just the
cave,
3 of us.
and we
It
were
was
having
so much fun.
fun. Like we were just in it and you can hear it portrayed through the audio, the sound. That's why Johnny, he didn't even like question it. We asked him, I think you asked him, you're like, "Are you gonna keep those?"
Yeah,
or
I thought we
whatever?"
were getting
Yeah.
vocals
So
were done. We're like, okay, we're gonna do the backgrounds. He's got this smirk. He always
He
has
was
a
like,
Yeah,
smirk.
"Fuck
smart.
that."
And
He's
he's
like,
like,
"Fuck that, we're keeping
you
these."
know, he
Yeah.
I mean, call me
Done.
cliche.
Yeah.
He like swung over or flew man or whatever.
This is
Call
this,
me cliche, but isn't that why you do it though? Because it's fun. Like,
Yes.
That's the whole reason.
dude. If it stopped being fun, I would get up because we got up this morning to go to Fox and do the interview. I would get up early every day and go to work like a regular job if this wasn't fun.
Yeah, if this wasn't gonna be fun, I go have fun nowhere else and stop living in a van.
Yeah, we live in a van. We're grown men living in a
I'll
van
have fun
together.
somewhere in one place.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's great.
We love
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, this question kind of just came up randomly, but what's kind of how many songs are there where you just like you started working on it and then you're just like, no, this is terrible. Do you guys have any of those, or like do you have a large amount?
I don't think we've started those yet.
Really.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we're in rehearsals, because I have a ton of ideas, but I'll pick the ones that I think the guys are gonna like.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through, and it hasn't happened much these days because we've
We
kind
also
of
have the
removed.
philosophy of there's never a bad idea, and we'll go with it as long as it'll take us.
Yeah. Once everybody hits a wall, we're like, we can move on or something like that.
Come back to it some other time or something.
There's never a bad idea, and the song really makes it or breaks it itself. I think. And we all just feel the energy about it. At least that's what I've sense.
Yeah, and if somebody's not feeling something, we'll move on because it's it's just three of us. So if one guy's not happy, it kind of brings the whole room down.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all about the energies in there.
Yeah. A follow-up to that, have there ever been songs where you have thought, this doesn't really fit, put it on the back burner for a little bit, and you've come back to it and you've like had a new idea, or you felt that you can do something with it?
Quite a few tunes because
Wrong was one of those.
yeah, well they can't. I mean, we were signed with Sony and had different management and everything at the time, and their relationship just wasn't working out. But we got shot down a lot, and that can give you a complex. And so for years, it was just working too close to home instead of getting outside ideas and input. And so a lot of the songs that I felt strongly about, they got shot down, and then it makes you hesitant to speak your mind and throw and put it out there. We've been bringing back around since we have new management and people that haven't heard these songs before, and they're just flipping out about them, and all the fans are really taking kindly to them, if you will, and so that's good in itself, because you kind of get in your own head and you start to, you gotta, it's a gut feeling, and so I feel like I was right, and these songs are good, and so now that we're playing them again, because we stopped playing them whenever people started telling us they weren't good and they couldn't make the record, and that's just not the case. So, yeah.
But it was a good lesson to learn too, is that next time around, we speak up.
Yeah.
We're not going to be like, okay, whatever you say.
And that's why our label is amazing now. Still Horse, they're behind us, and they like our music. It's good to work with people that like you.
Instead of being told all the time, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Start
Do
over.
something else.
Man, they had me in skinny jeans and everything else. I'm like, my ankles need to breathe.
Yeah,
I can't wear those things.
We had grown out beards and stuff, and
We couldn't drink beer for a month.
yeah, so then we just drank
down.
vodka for a month and beat the shit
Yeah,
out of
we wound up drinking vodka like we drink beer, and that's a bad idea.
big mistake. But yeah,
That happens, and it's finally like the songs. Like I said, there's no bad idea. So
That's awesome.
That's great. Well, next question. So I saw that on your website. I was checking out some of the tour dates, and you guys just did 2 gigs in Mexico, one of which sold out. Was that your first time doing shows outside of the States?
no, we've been doing Mexico for 5 years now, something like that.
and
It's
one of the
amazing.
coolest places on earth.
Yeah,
It really is.
It's 4 hours south of Phoenix, so where our studio is, you can get in the van and be in Mexico in 4 hours on the beach
Watch the sunset.
in the Sea of Cortez.
Steve Cortez, yeah.
Which is just beautiful. I mean,
It's crazy, and
wildlife out there.
and then a lot of our those guys have turned into our family, so it's cool. And thanks to Roger Klein, the Peacemakers, those guys are the ones that they built this whole festival, and they asked us to come down one time, and it just grew our fan base, and because people come from all over the world really to see that, to go to that festival. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And
the first year we played, Cracker played, which I just love those guys. That was really great.
I'm pretty sure my parents met at a Roger Klein concert.
They did, yeah. That's what we were talking about. It was like,
Are you serious?
yeah, it all comes back to Roger
I am
Klein,
here today
man.
because of Roger Klein.
That is amazing. So are we.
So are we, yeah, seriously.
I guess that works out, right?
Yeah.
It all comes full
Let's just
circle.
all thank Roger Klein. Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, I thank him every day, man.
Yeah, he's in Vegas right now tonight, playing tonight
Oh, that's awesome.
at a bar at Caesar's Palace.
That's yeah, that works out.
Yeah.
I'd also like to ask, what are the, if you could elaborate a little more, what are the audiences in Mexico like compared to the audiences that you might get in Missouri or Arizona?
well, when we play down there, they're mostly Americans. Like
okay, so,
98%.
But we'll go down there and play for the kids in the school and have
Yeah,
a
we'll go to
thing.
the park.
And they don't. A lot of them don't speak English, and so it's so funny when we first did it with the kids, and because we gave them all CDs and stuff like that, and well, we go out there and I'm like, hola, and they all giggle because the gringo's like trying to speak Spanish, and I'm like, I'm the worst guy. I still have an accent, you know. And I'm like, hola, everybody. How you doing? You know, and I'm like,
Amigos.
hey, amigos,
Is that
it's
how you
me.
say it, Chica?
I'm like, yes, it's amigos.
Yeah, it's amigos with a Y.
But
Yeah.
but like at first they're like really standoffish, and every single one of them is grinning ear to ear,
Yeah.
and they're just like, oh my gosh,
But they're so nice to
still
us.
play. And then when we get done, they all just like bum rush us, and like start, little kids just start hugging you and stuff. You know,
It's a great place.
it's a really cool feeling. It's really
That's awesome.
You know, just to kind of do something for them, and you know, because they never get that. You know, they never get that, and we purposely go to, because there's the American side where the condos are, and it's, you know, a lot more money, and then there's the real Rocky Point, or Peñasco is what they call it, Puerto Peñasco, and you know, that's dirt poor, and so they never get to see anything like this, and then when we go there, it's really cool. It's really
Everybody's
cool.
so nice. It's
I feel like that's just like a great feeling in general. Just to
great.
just to bring that that down.
We're lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Yeah. All right. Well, next question. It also says on your website that you guys have played prison performances.
Now see.
That's because you were
Just
in
these
prison.
guys, yeah, just because these guys were in prison one time. No, that was supposed to happen, and it never did. And that's funny because we've done a few interviews where people have asked us what it was like, and we never got to do it because when it was scheduled to happen, it was 125 degrees in the desert, and
no
so they
thank you.
canceled it. And because the warden, and he hit us up, he said, the last thing we want to do is get some angry prisoners out here in the heat.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to haul gear and like all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
because it was a heat advisory that whole week.
Yeah.
And
So
the
they
warden was
they
like,
canceled
"No."
it. Never. We were going to reschedule it, and then we started making the record. We just haven't.
Just haven't
It's still
played.
there.
Yeah,
but
we
just
still on
haven't.
the table. We just haven't
Yeah.
pulled the trigger on it. I mean, things are going seriously crazy right now. It's like
Yeah, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
what started my Sharpie addiction.
you know, you had that since.
I had that, yeah, since I was 12.
I mean, Sharpies do smell good. So
They
I
do,
guess
man.
Get high off Sharpies.
I know. I just.
Gasoline.
Yeah, I know. I'm the worst. When I pump gas, I'm always like, I was sitting there like, driving down the road.
Yeah. 4 a.m.
Yeah. Hey guys, is this a good idea?
Definitely not. Pass it to me.
I have to tell the.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, my mother.
Yes. The first song you ever learned to sing ever was "Green and Dumb."
Oh,
By
I love
Roger
that.
Klein.
See, I love that. That's one of my
You
favorite
were like
ones.
3 years old, and you'd sit in the back of the truck
I didn't
in
even know
Germany.
this.
Yes, and you would sing every single word to that song. That was the first song you ever learned. I have it on video somewhere.
See? Oh, Roger would love that.
I've told Roger many times
That's awesome.
that you're
Raja.
around because.
Because of Roger.
Yeah.
Well,
we
that
just- we
didn't
talked
sound
about
right.
that.
Don't say that.
Dad, it's you.
I can never take you to the shows though because it's 21 and over.
Boo.
I know.
I should be an exception.
Yeah.
We'll just put you backstage. Well, maybe that's not a good idea.
We know what he gets into. He can't be backstage. He's too ornery.
Going off of the performance aspect, we were wondering have you had a lot of like odd experiences when you've been on stage, and if so, what was the weirdest experience?
I know some of these will probably be a little over, like PG-13.
No, actually,
know.
Really?
I hope
the
so.
one that's
Right.
the one that sticks
There's
out.
one stripper, yeah.
Yeah,
she was
well,
I mean, I don't really think we're.
we don't get to have much of that. We don't get that much fun. But we were actually playing Circus Mexicus this last year, and
Last month, yeah.
yeah, in June, and somebody tripped over. It's Mexico, so somebody tripped over the plug that unplugged the sound for 5,000 people. And was it you? It was her. It was your
not for
mom.
this
She
one.
did it.
Great. Come on, Mom.
But yeah, and so the power went out, and
But
And-
only on like the guitar
The gu-
backline.
yeah, the
Drum-
vocals still
all
work,
mics
the PA still
work.
work.
So my drums were still rocking, PA still worked.
So there's a bunch of people out there, and you got, 4,000 plus people in Mexico that come there to see a show, and are drinking since noon, and at this point it's 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night,
Oh, they're happy.
and then the power goes out, and 3 songs in or something, which is just our luck. So we're out there, and you feel it. If you've ever had that dream where you're completely naked and you wind up at your job or where you're supposed to be, or at a family reunion or something like that. Yeah, and so that's kind of how it was, and you got all these people looking at you like, okay, what now? So I said, hey, let's sing a song together, and everybody's like, yeah, and it happened to be on my birthday on June 8th, and so everybody started singing happy birthday to me, 4,000 plus people singing happy birthday, and I was thinking, let's sing a Tom Petty song together, because like breakdown, and we eventually went into that, and all these people sang along with us, but that was.
So it turned from a nightmare to
yeah, it went pretty well. Yeah, and then we got to take a break in between, so that was nice too.
Yeah,
I had to
and
be.
like afterwards, when the next few days, because we were still around the whole festival, so people always coming up talking, and they were like, "Man, that was one of the coolest things we've ever seen."
Yeah, it wound up being a highlight of the festival when we were up there like deer in the headlights, like, holy shit, what are you gonna do now? Like, power's out and everybody's dance, monkey, dance.
I took my bass off because I was like, I think I'm supposed to smash it now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Break
Like, do
stuff.
I? And then right before I did, Josh was like, wait.
It was like the Step Brothers hug where we didn't know what to do. We're like,
It's awkward.
There was this other time though. I think it was my birthday party at Rock Bar, and
Birthday's crazy, man.
well, I started seeing panties getting thrown up on stage, and I was like, all right, right on. And it wasn't Hot Girl. It was our buddy Jack.
He went and bought the
Panties
biggest
like-
underwear he could find and was slinging them up on stage. So it was like having a sheet thrown at it. Like, it wasn't like getting hit and hanging from your guitar. These things were taking you out.
I was throwing blankets on
Yeah.
stage at that point.
Oh my gosh. And we didn't realize, we're like, what? He said at first it was cool. We're like, oh, this is great. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Nobody can see. It's like falling in the pool with the cover on it. You cannot get out of it.
They could have at least been clean.
He didn't have to wear them first.
For a week.
Yeah. Oh, Jack.
Oh, happy birthday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jack.
Oh, it was Jack?
Yes.
Yeah, it's silly Jack. Just sitting back there
Laughing.
laughing.
I can't breathe. Get me out of here.
But they weren't even like sexy ones. They're like
No.
grandma.
Yeah, like
It's- They were laundry day draws.
Laundry day.
The whites.
Well, once. Once whites.
The once whites.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, what's that?
Sorry, we're off.
We don't have fun at all, as you can
No, obviously not. You guys are the most serious people I've ever met.
We're very serious. Take our Sharpies very serious.
Sharpie peanut.
Here, pass me away.
Yeah, right?
Pass the Sharpie.
acoustic set, just like take us.
Yeah. That's why it's gonna be so cool, the show tonight. Everybody's
You're
bringing their own
giving
Sharpie.
everyone a complimentary Sharpie.
Yeah, everybody's just gonna pass the Sharpie around.
That's the new thing. That's
It is.
gonna be the new thing.
Yeah, instead
Shows
all
past
the
the Sharpie.
yeah, instead the kids eating those damn Tide
Pods.
Pods.
Tide Pods. That was terrible.
I can't believe that's a
Tasted pretty-
thing.
Oh, you.
Wait, that's not a good thing? Oh.
They
Wait.
have this nice little teeny flavor to it.
They got a nice.
You look over and he's like, his eyes are big and he's just chilling.
Yeah, right? It's like pouring out of my mouth.
Suds.
How you mean? Suds and
I've never done that.
You gotta call poison control around.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Drink some milk.
That'll calm you down.
No, I
get,
have a
like-
tag that says do not resuscitate.
Yeah.
You got like people who just tweet at the Tide Twitter account and be like, I just ate Tide Pods for the Tide Pod challenge. Now what do I do? And they're like, drink a glass of
Yeah, go to the hospital.
Call the doctor. Call poison control.
drink. But they like make it like in all of their tweets, all of their replies would always say drink a glass of milk or
Are you
water.
serious?
Yes.
You gotta
That was
wash it out,
Chico.
you know?
That was Chico. No, that wasn't actually tied. He's just like, he's selling milk. Drink a glass of milk. There.
You
What the
gotta
hell?
wash that detergent down.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
you gotta sell milk with your Tide Pods apparently.
Yeah. I remember back when we used to just put Oreos in that shit. Dip in Tide Pods.
Now we're done with Tide.
One Oreo Tide Pod sandwich. That's the best.
Oh,
It adds a little bit of flavor.
Oh, it's
you know?
If you took the cream out and put the fucking cookie.
Yeah, they hate that.
He does. Who does that?
Wait,
I
what?
do, well, 'cause in case you want to eat the outside of the cookie later, I don't lick
Wait,
it. I
you
just
take
take
cream
the
out
Oreos
and you
apart,
split the cream?
and I take the cream on one side, and I put the other half of the cookie back in the thing in case I run out of Oreos and I want to eat that cookie later. I
So-
can't help you guys find
So
it.
you,
wait a minute.
so you
You've
have the
never-
cookie, the cream, and then you eat
It's
that,
the
and then you have
family
the extra
pack.
cookie.
You-
and
The
you eat
extra
that way.
side of the cookie.
You know what? I'm gonna say that's reasonable. I would
See?
do that too.
Yeah, but if
Because
you
I don't
knew
want
him,
anybody to
he'd
miss
justify
out if
this.
it's like.
I'm
No,
going to.
no.
I'm on his
This
side.
is
on
crazy
this.
because if you
Thank
knew
you.
him, that he destroys every sandwich because he takes the top piece of every sandwich off. Sandwich, hamburger.
It's too much
Oreo.
bread.
You do.
Wait,
you do
so
that
not-
with
He's a
all right,
carb
all right,
freak.
that's-
He's a
that's-
carb freak.
Why not just
With
get an
Oreos?
open-faced sandwich? Why not just say, can I get an open-faced sandwich?
Well, I don't know.
It's a
I
carb
never
freak.
thought
It's
about
okay.
that. Thank you for bringing
We
that
worry
up.
about our
Like,
image.
he
We're a little sensitive sometimes. It's
He
okay.
probably
Wow.
just has like a stack of bread somewhere. In the
Yeah,
back.
I'm just hoarding it for the fallout.
In the back of the van, there's just a pile of
But
rotting
it's
bread.
yeah, like half of it's moldy. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'll still eat it later. All right?
Yeah, I'd turn that into penicillin. You need that on the road too.
Awesome.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think we have run out of questions to ask
All right,
you guys. Is
that's
there
cool.
anything else you guys want to say? I know Chico left to go to the bathroom.
I love St. Louis. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, of
You guys
course.
are rad.
Awesome. Your mom's awesome.
She's. Yes, my mom is awesome.
See.
Mom, you want to say something?
Your mom is awesome.
You want to say something, Mom?
It's her blondie shirt.
I've
Look
been-
at that.
Oh, she's taking Chico's
Oh,
home.
yeah.
Do it.
You know, I found these guys because they were opening for Roger Klein.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been following Roger since '96.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm here.
I know, that is why you're here.
I love that.
Refreshments.
I love that.
Your dad and I met at a refreshment show in '96.
Yep.
I was super sober and totally 21.
Just to clarify.
And your dad was like, I'm in the military and I'm Republican. I'm like, I can't.
Whoa, that's
I will
quite
never,
a way to start out
I
there.
will never talk to you again.
Yeah,
High
wow.
five.
That's
And
a.
now I'm here. So
Yeah.
And I
Hey,
don't
bub.
know what happened.
Sorry, Chico.
But like, sorry, Chico, you can sit on my lap.
Oh, there you
All
go.
right. All right.
Oh boy. Okay.
I know. And so then no matter where we go, we always see Roger Klein in Oklahoma and
Germany,
anywhere,
right next to
everywhere.
Oklahoma.
I know. I wish.
Germany right next
Yes, yeah. It's right there.
In fact, they did their first Euro tour 8 years ago, like yesterday or today.
I saw
Anyway,
him post something.
yeah, they posted something about it, and so yeah, like then we came and saw you.
That's
guys
weird 'cause
open
I
that
went out
for
to
Roger,
find
and I-
Roger
and my friend Laura just looks at me and she's like, oh, and she's not here. She'll be here later, maybe tonight, and she was just like, this band is amazing, and I'm like,
Oh, that's so
have
nice.
you seen their merch? We don't even know if they sound great, but their merch is incredible.
Oh,
And we
thanks.
need to buy everything, and let's
Oh.
hope that they're really good. And then you guys came out on stage, and we were like,
Well, I saw you before we came in on
right,
stage,
that's right.
You were wearing your blondie shirt.
I was wearing this blondie shirt, and he was like, great shirt. And then he walks out on stage, and I'm like, of course he's the lead singer. Like, of course
see?
he is. I knew it. And
I was hitting on your mom, bro.
Oh, great. Great. Awesome.
Once she saw the jeans, man.
The skinny
It's over.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's like they're the open-ended ones. The
Yeah.
60s ones.
That's
yeah.
it.
And then that was it. Like we were just like every single song they came out and played the whole time. It was just every single song was good. And I didn't know any of them.
Oh,
And
thanks.
every song was good.
And now we're all best friends.
And now we're almost
Thank
friends.
you.
But
You wanna play
tonight,
karate in the garage?
they're donating their proceeds tonight to. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that. I'll let you guys talk about
Oh,
that.
yeah. To Dave, the Matthews family, because that whole tragedy that happened. So it was just, it worked out that we were playing tonight and that had happened. We wanted to help out the family any way we could. St. Louis is awesome to us. So anything we could do to give back, and he meant a lot to the community. We didn't know him directly, but from just acquaintances and people that knew of him and knew him. Obviously, everybody thought he was a great dude because the GoFundMe thing is doing really well. So we're just glad to help.
Well, awesome.
Let's end it on a.
Let's end it on
Nicer.
yeah.
A nicer
I mean,
note.
that is. I mean,
So
Yeah, that's pretty
that's awesome that you guys are donating. Like,
Yeah, I did tell them that they've done Bubba O'Reilly before.
yeah, that's my favorite song.
Oh
of all
yeah,
time.
we did that with Roger.
Yes, I found it.
Yeah, she showed it to me, and I was like, all right, I like these guys. I love the Who. Like, see,
Oh yeah, I know.
It's his
I
favorite
get it.
band.
it is my favorite band.
And I did send a video to him because I was like, oh,
I gotta see it.
Baba he was on stage with Pearl Jam.
That's crazy awesome. That's amazing, man.
It was a weird day.
That's a good
Yeah,
guy.
weird night, because we were out in line till like 2 a.m.
We got in line at 2 a.m. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how we got on the
And
front.
see, this is
amazing.
so next time we just
It
want.
it kind of just registered for me. I was like, oh yeah, 2, and then I was like, wait, reverse.
Yeah.
2 a.m. with
Yeah,
like the
that
show at, you know.
This is
Yeah.
why we're friends with you guys now, so we don't have to wait in line at 2 a.m.
You won't
so when
ever
we
have
wanna
to wait in line.
see you guys, we need
You'll be
some
helping me get into the
backstage.
show.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
we appreciate
awesome.
it.
Thank you,
We'll
guys.
close it out on. You want to do it?
Okay. Your new single, Belladonna, is up for listen on Spotify, Google Play, and is available for purchase on iTunes.
It's very good.
Correct.
You got your
Thank you so much.
You got your other albums; those are available on iTunes, and Spotify, and Google Play too. And you guys are currently on tour in the Midwest and the Southwest, and you'll be playing at Del Mar Hall in St. Louis on the 22nd. Sorry, I'm just like
Hey, we need all the knocking on wood we can get.
yeah,
right?
just making sure that everything's gonna go smoothly. And you guys will be playing Del Mar Hall in SDL on the 22nd of July.
Yes, we
So
will.
Go see them.
Come
They're
out.
great.
Have a good
Amazing.
time.
These
You guys are
great.
awesome.
We'll have enough Sharpies to go around.
Good.
Sharpies
for everyone.
Sharpies into the crowd. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to this
It's
ShatterCast.
a very special episode.
Thanks,
It's
ShatterCasters.
We
Thanks,
usually,
guys.
All right. We usually just end the episode by
Yeah.
walking away from
We
the
walk
mic.
away.
So.
All right. Drop mic.
Yeah. Right.
I gotta move.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.